Meredith Vieira, this is amazing, this is incredible. I mean, I could read everything.
The way you're doing all this stuff.
Yeah, well, I don't want to know, let's not go there. But I could read all the things you've done, but I think we'd be here for like days. It's just amazing. Just an awesome, great career you've had and are having.
Thank you.
One of the things now that you've been involved with, that you're doing a game show, 25 words or less, on Fox. It's also syndicated. I want you to tell us about the show.
Well, it's fast, it's fun, it's addictive. That's the way I usually describe it. The goal of the show is to get your teammates to answer 10 words in 1 minute or less, using 25 words or less. So they have to guess these 10 words. And it sounds easier than it is. It's not easy, and there are various rounds that lead up to that. And each team is comprised of 2 celebrities and 1 civilian, and they play together. And I have to say, every celebrity, you never know what's going to happen in your first season because people aren't familiar with the game, but every celebrity who played said to me at the end of the game, "Can I come back?" That's a good sign that people are having a good time.
Now it's in its 2nd season.
Just about. We'll be taping it beginning in April.
Now on the 1st season, there were WWE Superstars.
There were.
And the list there is like a who's who, because we've got the New Day, which is Big E, Kofi Kingston, and Xavier Woods. You have Apollo Crews, you have Ali, you have Seth Rollins, Becky Lynch. It was just a who's who of WWE talent. What was it like having the WWE Superstars on the different shows?
I'm going to be totally honest with you. I'm not a big follower of wrestling, so when I heard they were coming on, you prejudge. I don't know, a bunch of wrestlers, what's that going to be like? But I started researching them, because you should. And, okay, when they arrived, I knocked on everybody's trailer to say hi and indicate that I had done my homework. And every single one blew me away because, A, the first thing you notice about them is they're the kindest, most polite people I've dealt with in a long time. They're just gentlemen and ladies. That's truly who they are. They're extremely smart, which again, you think, well, as a sports person, no, really smart. And they're also, their work ethic, maybe from what they do, they worked so hard. They really studied the game. They knew the game. They took it seriously. They were on that set on time. Nobody complained about anything. And because they're performers, gosh, could they perform? They were fabulous. They had so much energy. I think they had a great time, and they were among our best players.
It's interesting, too, because getting to see them on the show and just how much fun they had. You said that. I mean, it was just incredible. What is it like when you're doing a show like that, and you've done game shows before, too,
yeah,
when you have that energy coming as you as a host, and then from the celebrities that are there, and then it resonates to whoever's the contestant?
It's a force that takes over. It changes the whole dynamic of the show. When I'm getting that energy at me, it really boosts me. It makes me more excited, and you play off it. You play off each other, and something magical happens, and it translates through the lens of the camera to the audience at home. You can't fake that kind of enthusiasm. You either have it or you don't, and they really had it, and they delivered it.
One of the things that was interesting was, I don't know if all of them did, but almost all of them took a turn at introducing. They were sort of like the person that when you're starting the show,
they were the
MC. They were the MC, right? They were the
announcer. They were the announcer. I don't know whose idea it was, and when we tried that with other people, it just didn't feel the same. It was so appropriate to these wrestlers that they be the ones to announce, because they're kind of bigger than life. And there was that bravado that they set up, and Apollo was I said to him the first time I said, "You should take this gig. You're so good at it." Because it played into their wheelhouse.
I was going to ask you, do you think if Apollo, you could hire him full time? Because he was one of the ones I wrote that down to ask you, because he did such a great job with it.
We love our announcer, so nothing's going to happen. But if Apollo should break his leg, he's got a job for life as an announcer.
It was so good. All right, so Meredith, how did this game come to fruition? How did it start? Whose idea?
Well, here's the story. Mary McCormick, fantastic actress. She's from the Midwest, and her family used to play this game. It's a board game. Started by the same person who started Taboo, who developed Taboo. So it's the same mind that came up with 25 words or less. She and her family would play the board game, and at some point she brought it back to LA because she loved it. And she thought, I'm going to play. They'd have game night. Who knew? in LA. And so she's really close to Lisa Kudrow from Friends and many other things, and Dan Buckatinsky, fabulous actor. And they started playing the game, and they all really liked it. And then one of them, I don't know who, they may all take credit, I wish I could, but one of them said, you know what? This would be so much fun to translate this into a television version. And at the time, Lisa and Dan, who have a production company together, said, we've never gone into the game world, let's try it. They called me, Stephen Brown, and because they were doing 15 shows, they were just test it. And they said, would you host this? And I had done Millionaire for 11 years, hosted the syndicated version, so I love game. And I wasn't sure, and then because it shot in LA and I'm in New York, and then Dan came to visit me, and Dan's a secret weapon for these people. He's so charming. They're all charming, but when you've met Dan,
you can't say no.
You cannot say no. Okay, and I love Stephen Brown from Fox, and Mary and Lisa are fabulous. So I thought, it's 15 shows. I've been in the business so long. What's the likelihood it's going to get picked up? I go to LA. I love LA. My daughter and both my sons at that point lived on the West Coast, so it was a great opportunity to see them. And we shot it over a weekend, and I loved it. You know when you know. I thought, which was almost bad for me, because I said, what if it doesn't get picked up? I'm going to be so bummed out, because then I was invested in it. But I had a fabulous time, and then went home, and a few months later, we got the word that we were going to NATPE, and we had pretty much, sold it, and it happened so fast, which was cool.
When something like this happened, and you mentioned Millionaire, did you know when you were getting, now that Regis had done it, so then
Right.
you were going, so that was already one that was doing well.
Yeah,
this is a first time trying to do this.
Totally, but there's risks to both. When I took over Millionaire for syndication, it was already beginning to slide a little bit on network because they had played it so often. You okay?
I'm good.
Yeah. Do you want me to start that again?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
The Millionaire had already begun to slide a little bit in the ratings. I mean, it was a juggernaut. Probably because they played it so much. They had it on so many evenings that, there's a saturation point for people. So a lot of people said this is not going to work in syndication. People have had their fill of it. And there were a lot of naysayers. But my attitude was, I love this game. What the heck? I'm just going to try. And I was offered it. I've been lucky. I was offered that job by Michael Davies at the time, who was the executive producer, and had produced for Regis, the primetime. And I just said, I'll do it, and 11 years later.
It's interesting how those steps, things can lead one to the other.
Absolutely.
And now with this, is it a different kind of feel? Is it a different kind of feel because when you're doing something like that and it's established compared to that, okay, this is one where, okay, I don't want to mess things up. I want to keep it as is or make it better, but I don't want to mess things up. This one, the new one, 25 words or less, this is just you coming out now, hey, where are we going with this? How are we taking this?
Exactly. We sat in a room for many days trying to figure out how do we translate, well, actually many months before I even came on board, trying to figure out how do we translate the board game to a television show, because that's tricky to do. And so it's not exactly the board game, because it can't be. Now it's a visual show, but they made it work. And we also agreed, because it's new, you can kind of go anywhere. So we'll try this, and if this isn't working, we could try something else. We'll tinker with it a bit. So that was actually very freeing, in the sense that we had so many areas that we could sort of dive into and explore. The risk was so few people know the board game. It's been around longer than Taboo.
I've never heard of the board game, right?
So many people had never heard of it. So to them, it's like, well, what is this? At least Millionaire with syndication, you know what it is. 25 words or less, well, I'm confused. What is that? And then people would say to me, well, can you say it in 25 words or less? What is it? I go, I can't. I can't.
No,
Please,
yeah,
I can't.
Yeah,
I
I know.
can't.
It's like
No.
it's like with Millionaire, they're not
Right. Final answer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But for
but we have had a blast working on it and seeing it. You know, the first year is always about discovery, the first season.
It is, with any type of show.
Yeah, it's getting people into the tent and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And then hopefully the second season you're on your way and you've got an audience. This season we're really trying to build our audience, and we find when people come to the show, they love the show, and that's great.
With WWE getting involved in this, do you foresee then WWE being involved in future seasons?
I'm going to look right in here. The say it, WWE.
Yes.
I'm going to look right in the camera. The WWE better be on this season. Or there's going to be, what, a SmackDown? I don't know.
Yeah, that's it.
Something's
Yes.
going to happen.
And that's a Fox thing too, Meredith Vieira. You're on. Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. You got it. Yes. She's tying it all together. That's why. She is who she is. Yes. Well, Meredith, we'll wrap this up, but with having the WWE Superstars on the show and mention the names that was on, these were some of the big names in WWE. How did that resonate too with the contestants? Because some of those contestants, if not all of them, were WWE fans as well. Do you know if that was sort of like an idea too, let's get some contestants who like WWE, or that just organically maybe happened?
No, I think there was and I didn't book it, so I want to be careful.
Yes.
But I think there was an effort to get people fans, because for them it's like they've died and gone to heaven. It was such a thrill for them. Forget the game. They were sitting next to these folks that they watched all the time. And in many cases, they were heroes to these folks, you know, who would come on the show. So I thought it elevated the game. They weren't so starstruck that they couldn't play the game, but it's like, oh my God, I'm sitting next to this guy and this guy. And we're teammates. We're teammates. We're on a level playing field. And I have to say that every one of the wrestlers, every single one was so gracious to their contestant. And making them feel comfortable, making them feel like you're the center of attention. We are only here to help you. And that's a very generous thing for anybody to do, any celebrity.
Now, do you know if Lisa Kudrow, Mary, or Dan are WWE fans or wrestling fans, or don't know that, Meredith?
I don't know. They're big fans of these wrestlers, I'll tell you that. Big fans.
That's great. Well, there it is. Anything you'd like to close with about the show? 25 words or less?
Just that we're so proud to have accomplished season 1. We're very excited about season 2. Please watch. I know if you do, you're going to love it.
Okay, Meredith Vieira, let me tell you something. Providence, Rhode Island,
Yes.
Tufts University. Go Tufts. The Today Show, The View, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, CBS News, 60 Minutes. Fox's 25 words or less. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You're so sweet.